Okay, we all know how handy this stuff here is, parachute cord. I always like to carry as much as I can comfortably. Um, and one of the easiest ways I've found over the years to do that was to daisy chain it and just wrap it around the, over under through my webbing of my Boonie hat. And, Occam's razor, that is just the easiest way to do it. Recently I came across something that was pretty neat, so I'm going to pass it along to you guys. First, let me show you how to daisy chain here. So, and all daisy chaining is just a series of slip knots. So we got our 550 here. We're going to make a overhand loop and bring a little bit of material under, and there we go. There's a slip knot, and you can see it's all slippy. And then we'll repeat, come under, like this. Whoops, there we go. And when I make my daisy chains, I like to make mine fairly tight because I can get more cordage out of them. And that's all we're doing, is you just repeat this process up through, and there's your next loop. Up through, there's your next loop. Up through, there's your next loop. Now, incidentally, I learned this from a movie called Operation Dumbo Drop, if you can believe that. Up through, and one more. And then, to finish my daisy chain off, I make a half hitch, sometimes just one half hitch, sometimes two half hitches, just like that. One is usually sufficient, so there we go, there's our daisy chain. And then when I'm ready to use it, just undo my half hitch and pull, and you can see the loops there sliding out, and it goes by pretty quick. So that's the first part of it. Now the next part involves something called a lanyard knot. Now I learned this particular idea of attaching a 550 from a fellow named Stromdrane. He's on YouTube and he has a blog, so I'll link those in the box. But to tie a lanyard knot, first thing we're going to do, make an overhand loop like this. Okay, I'm going to pinch it, come up around my finger and over on my finger on my left hand. So I have kind of this looking thing. I'm going to take this loop here on the right, put it under the loop on the left, and pinch it. Now here is my running end on the left. I'm going to come over this loop right here. Okay, now excuse me, I got to adjust fingers. So we came over this loop, and I'm going to come under the running end on the right. Okay, now you see right here where we brought this loop under, we're going to go down, and then we're going to come up between right there, and there we go. Now I believe this is called a carrick bend, maybe a double carrick bend or something like that, but that's the basic. Alright, now we're going to take the one on the left, and that is closest to us, around the right. I'm a little short here, but that's okay. And up through the center, and then we'll take the one that's on the right, and it's actually farthest from us, around to the left, and up through the center here. Let me get my fingers right, and then we'll draw it down, pull the slack out of that one, and there we go. Now it's fairly loose still. You adjust it. You can, bring, draw through the loops and stuff, and you can adjust this loop as long as short as you would like. But right there, now this is a decorative knot, and this method for attaching the 550 cord, like I said, is just decorative. Let me tighten it up here a little bit. And like I said, it's decorative. It's pretty neat. I like it, so I pass it along. But see, there's your basic lanyard knot, and you can use this for your knives and stuff too. But like I said, you have to adjust it. What I would suggest is leave it kind of loose and long for your Boonie hat, and then adjust it down for your parachute cord. So there's the basic. And what we do with this, now I already did this. See how I made it tight, like I said before. I made enough to wrap around my Boonie hat twice comfortably. You don't want it real tight or anything. And what I did with the lanyard knots, following Stromedrane's example, or an idea rather, is I tied them. Here's the stitching for the webbing. I tied them between the webbing, so I got like this guy here. That way you can just slip them over. Now this is the end where the loop is on my 550, and what I like to do with this end here is just slip the end over the knot like that, and then bring the loop over the knot, and there you go. It's all locked in there. It's pretty tight. It's sturdy. Like I said, I left them all loose and then adjusted it down tight onto the thickness of the 550. It takes a little bit of playing. Cut the ends off and burn them. I did 4, 2 here in the front and then 2 here in the back. Right here in the back, you can see where I just tied it off around the webbing loop. Now I like this idea. Like I said, this is kind of decorative, but it is a little easier to get the 550 cord off than, you know, interweaving it and stuff. Of course, you know, if these ends here aren't loose, so, or are loose, so I may do another knot there or something to keep it all nice and bundled down. But the 4 work pretty good. Just keep it nice and loose so it still fits your head nicely, and that's about it. So, excuse me, I hope you folks enjoyed this, and I hope you can put it to some use. And check out some of Stromedrane's other work. He does really nice stuff with a piece of string, and that's an understatement. So check it out. I'll just show you here again real quick. There's the loop, and then here's my end, so I can just whip it off and bam and yada yada. Alright folks, y'all have a good one. Stay warm out there, okay?